Afternoon, everyone. This is the Thursday, September 14th, 2023 session of the Portland City Council. I want to welcome Rebecca to the council clerk seat. I think this is your first time in the clerk position. I know you've been shadowing, but this is your first time in the big box.
It is. It is. Thank you.
Well, we're really thrilled to have you here. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. Please call the roll.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Maps.
Here.
Rubio.
Here.
Ryan.
Here.
Wheeler.
Here. Now we're going to hear from legal counsel on the rules of order and decorum. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Thank you. Welcome to the Portland City Council. To testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the council agenda at www.portland.gov/council/agenda. Information on engaging with City Council can be found on the council clerk's webpage. Presiding officer preserves order and decorum during City Council meetings. The presiding officer determines the length of testimony. Individuals generally have 3 minutes to testify unless otherwise stated. A timer will indicate when your time is done. Disruptive conduct such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting others' testimony or council deliberations will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene virtually. Your testimony today should address the matter being considered. When testifying, state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. Disclose if you are a lobbyist. If you are representing an organization, please identify it. For testifiers joining virtually, please unmute yourself once the council clerk calls your name. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We have one item this afternoon, item 779, an emergency ordinance.
Add downtown business incentive credit code to encourage new and extended leases in core business districts.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here to consider this important proposal for the Central City economic recovery and revitalization. This item, just to remind us all, would create a 1-year full business license tax credit for long-term lease signings in targeted areas of the Central City to promote the retention and attraction of employers and the economic vibrancy that they generate in our urban core. Alongside the many safety and livability initiatives we're simultaneously pursuing, this unprecedented policy action leads the nation and helps meet the moment that we face here in our city. This action, in concert with the expansion of the Enterprise Zone program, as well as the establishment of a new Central City Tax Increment Financing, or TIF district, is a key component of the Advance Portland Economic Development Strategy and my administration's Central City Recovery Plan. I want to thank Commissioner Rubio and her Chief of Staff, Jillian Shoney, for their partnership and collaboration to develop this proposal. I also want to thank Prosper Portland, the Revenue Division, the City Budget Office, and the Attorney's Office, as well as the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability for their terrific work to craft this innovative policy. I appreciate the leadership and the practical perspectives shared by the Portland Business Alliance, no longer the name. It is now the Portland Metropolitan Chamber, and other key stakeholders that are deeply committed to revitalizing our central city. I'll now turn this over to our Commissioner of Community and Economic Development, Commissioner Rubio, for any opening remarks that she'd like to make before we get right into our presentation and invited testimony. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. As you heard from the mayor, myself, and other colleagues, Portland's economic recovery is a top priority for this council. We are committed to doing all we can to ensure that we're a city that is safe and thriving for our businesses, big and small. Today's proposal follows other efforts by this body and Bureau staff to take action to respond to the needs of small businesses. More stabilization and repair grants, passing a resolution to consolidate permitting services, expanding our enterprise zones, launching new TIF district exploration committees for both East Portland and the Central City, developing a new economic development strategy, and making our own investments and asking for support from the state to assist in community safety. I think we also know that it hasn't been enough. More action is needed right now to be responsive to the moment that we're in, and that's what brings us to today's action. In June, both the mayor and I alluded to exploring new ideas to help the areas of our central cities struggling the most, based on a data analysis provided to us by Eco Northwest. My point then and still is today is this. Know that your city government is willing to consider a lot of things in balance while maintaining the services people rely on every day. And largely due to the good thinking and hard work of Andrew Fitzpatrick, we offer today a new policy to incentivize office lease renewals through a business license tax credit that is tied to in-person work for employees similar to city employees that will help surrounding small businesses. Before I hand it off to Andrew and other city staff to speak to the detail, I want to say this. Our city can fully recover because we have a core of people, including everyone in this room, who know and believe in Portland's best and highest potential, and who are willing to try new things to get there. This new idea today and others to come are what will move us through this turbulence and eventually to the other side. And today we're ensuring that we come back strong with this action. So with that, I will turn it back to the mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Rubio. Next, I'll welcome Andrew Fitzpatrick. He's my office's Director of Economic Development to share details of the policy. Welcome, Andrew.
Thanks, Mayor.
And Andrew, do you also want to introduce the invited testimony?
I'll be happy to.
Great, terrific, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Commissioners. For the record, my name is Andrew Fitzpatrick, and I serve as the Director of Economic Development in the Mayor's office. I'll provide some key context and components of this policy proposal, and then we'll turn it over to Mike Wilkerson, the Director of Analytics from Eco Northwest, and Tyler Wallace, who's the Interim Chief of the Revenue Division currently, who will describe detailed program structure, implementation, and management of this program. Mike's portion with Eco Northwest will describe how this intervention responds to their economic analysis of the needs of the Central City in the post-pandemic recovery phase. As the Mayor and Commissioner Rubio stated, this business license tax credit is designed to recover and revitalize hardest hit areas of our Central City by incentivizing long-term real estate lease renewals and new signings. The investment, employees, foot traffic, and spending that these leases represent will drive further vibrancy and economic activity in the surrounding neighborhoods. Many employers, retailers, restaurants, and other businesses operating in the Central City may choose to close or relocate otherwise their operations but for the incentive that this ordinance creates, which retains and attracts continued investment and employment in our city's core. Although the University of Toronto study on downtown recoveries was flawed, it's still fair to say that our downtown recovery lags comparable cities and demands this aggressive policy intervention. The Central Business District office vacancy rate continues to grow and is now at nearly 27%. With shadow vacancies and significant negative net absorption of office space, this figure is likely to continue to increase in future quarters. More than 100,000 people worked downtown before the pandemic. accounting for about 5% of the entire state's jobs. Today, office worker foot traffic is less than 50% recovered from 2019. Similarly, visitor foot traffic recovery lags the metro region and comparable cities. Depressed foot traffic continues to perpetuate further stagnation in foot traffic recovery as business activity, public space activation, and community safety are negatively impacted. We are seeing a trend of continued departures of employers and their employees from our core that we must turn around, even as we reimagine and reinvent our future downtown. The total program cost of this credit is capped at $25 million total, plus administrative costs over the next 5 years. This investment represents about 3% of the average business license tax revenue that's collected each year. This level of tax expenditure is needed to meaningfully influence individual lessees in a manner that achieves scale across the targeted subdistricts in the near term. Simply put, the Revenue Division would be collecting $0 forever for all companies choosing to close or leave the jurisdiction, on top of the broader positive economic impact that they would be leaving with. To act swiftly and maximize the economic benefit of scarce fiscal resources, there is a 15-employee threshold in this program. Employers with 15 or more employees are more likely to have a significant BLT liability that could be credited against to influence their leasing decision. Ultimately, this program's primary goal is to stimulate economic activity that will benefit smaller businesses through the increase in foot traffic and spending of neighboring tenants and their employees. Prosper Portland will continue to deliver other direct programs like the Repair and Restore grants, which are specifically focused on very small businesses in the city. Although there is broader need for support in our city, the targeted geographies in this credit are for central city subdistricts that are most acutely distressed based on Eco Northwest's analysis: Old Town, Lloyd, Lower Albina, and Downtown. This analysis incorporates several factors, including reductions in foot traffic and employment and increases in vacancy rates. Mike from Eco Northwest will speak more to this methodology momentarily. Taxpayers must be pre-approved for this tax credit and must attest to having returned their workers to the office in person at least half the hours of a standard working week. Taxpayers may only claim this credit for one tax year, may not claim more than 100% of their total liability, or more than a per taxpayer cap of $250,000. Each taxpayer availing themselves of this opportunity is subject to audit and oversight by the city's Revenue Division, who will speak more to this shortly. To develop this proposal, we took insights and inputs from those who engaged in the Advance Portland Plan and worked collaboratively with a variety of employers, commercial real estate managers, brokers, and other stakeholders involved in Central City recovery efforts. You'll be hearing from some of these representatives of these companies and organizations in public testimony. We stand ready to learn from the early performance of this program and adjust it, if needed, to stimulate as much positive investment as possible over the coming months. Thank you for your consideration and leadership, your vision, and your willingness to take bold action to bring our city back. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now over to Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Good morning, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Mike Wilkerson. I'm the Director of Analytics at Eco Northwest. As Andrew mentioned, I was invited today to share an update on the analysis that we provided to help inform the Advanced Portland Inclusive Economic Development Strategy. I believe I have some slides. We can pull them up. While that's happening, I would just like to state on the record that we have been a long-time downtown tenant. We believe in the downtown and have recently re-signed a lease to commit our long-term future to downtown, and so are firm believers in that.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. As I'm sure you're all familiar, from the plan, we looked at the 10 sub-districts in downtown, and the goal there being to provide a data-informed, repeatable analysis that could be updated as conditions change during the recovery. So as part of that, we had three categorizations or typologies: reimagine, reinvigorate, and retain. And reimagine were the hardest impacted areas facing crisis conditions and also in need of a long-term reimagining of those sub-districts, whereas reinvigorate are performing better, although still seeing some noticeable impacts from the pandemic, and the retain geographies have performed best and continue to perform during the recovery. And I think to do that, we really used, as Andrew indicated, 5 data points that can all be updated with some regularity and with geographic specificity. So we looked at the number of businesses to see are businesses forming, are they closing, employment by sector, office vacancy rates, and then I think importantly, foot traffic as the best real-time leading indicators of conditions on the ground. Next slide, please. What we see, I think, is not surprising and not different than many places, which is office vacancy rate is increasing. I will note that there are challenges when you're looking at understanding the square footage of vacancy. There are multiple sources of data, and importantly, what this doesn't include is shadow or subleased space that will come to market, and that's in the order of several million additional square feet on top of what you see here. I think the key takeaway is the trend is increasing, continuing to increase, and we now have more than double the amount of pre-pandemic office space vacant than we did. More than half of that is in our downtown alone. So we have high concentration in the downtown area of that office vacancy. Next slide, please. I think the other trend is to understand what's happening on a leasing volume basis. And so when we look out at the future, we still have 3 to 4 years of leases that were signed pre-pandemic, and what we're now seeing as the leading indicator is what is that volume of leases. And so effectively, you have firms who are renewing leases, and typically, on average, they're taking 30% less space than they did on their previous lease. And certainly, you have firms who are leaving the central city, and you have firms who are entering the central city. And so this is that combination of all of those factors. And what you see is, I think, the trend is the quarterly leasing volume is less than half of what it was. And I think what's challenging is that trend is decreasing over the last year, which is to say this is indicative of the vacancy rate continuing to increase for the foreseeable future. I think this trend certainly supports getting to 30% vacancy or higher, and the sublease is even on top of that. So those are the two, I think, best indicators we have as it relates to vacancy that we've continued to monitor since the Advanced Portland report. I think the two most relevant data points today are foot traffic, and the next two slides step through that. The first of which, next slide please, is employment. And so here we're able to subset employment foot traffic. So these are people who come to the same place of work, and it can incorporate hybrid work versus in-person work. And we're able to look at that on a effectively daily basis all the way through as of this data is through end of month, July 2023. And when we do that, what we see is a continued recovery through about 6 months ago, and then it has really plateaued. And so when you look at the central city, total office foot traffic is down 30%, downtown is down 53%, Old Town Chinatown is down 60%, Lloyd is down 48%, and Lower Albina of our reimagined subdistricts is performing the best, but is still down 30%. And so I think this is indicative of the initial analysis holding true today. The conditions in these subdistricts are still the poorest performing of the subdistricts in the central city, and that holds true across all the data that we're able to have ready updates for. Next slide, please. And again, visitor foot traffic, I think, is not directly related to employment, but there is a very strong nexus between a thriving, activated public realm and retail experience that daytime employment supports. And so if you don't have that daytime activation, the retail environment really struggles, and that has a negative feedback loop with visitors wanting to come down to spaces, and certainly the amount of business that can be supported when foot traffic is down 50% is meaningful. But again, the overall visitor foot traffic is down to a lesser extent, 35% in downtown and 23% in the rest of the central city. So those are my remarks. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Tyler Wallace. I'm the Interim Revenue Division Director. This ordinance before you today amends Portland City Code Chapter 7.02 to add the Downtown Business Incentive Credit. As you have heard, the DBI provides a credit of up to $250,000 per business as incentive to enter, renew, or extend a lease within the downtown core. It also applies to businesses that occupy the space that they own. The credit will be taken on the business tax return filed with the city. To qualify, a business must enter a lease or extend a lease of at least 4 years in 2023 or 2024. A qualifying business must have at least 15 employees working at least half-time in the location within the district. Qualifying businesses must submit an application to the Revenue Division and receive an approval to claim the credit on the tax return. The credit is calculated as the lesser of $30 per square foot or 1% of a portion net income, and the credit is capped at $250,000 per business. Once the business establishes their credit in 2023 or 2024, it is divided by 4 and available to them as a non-refundable credit over the next 4 years. The credit program as a whole, as you heard, is capped at $25 million. In the event that the credit cap is reached, all timely applications will still qualify and still receive a credit. Every business that was approved for the credit would then have their credit reduced to stay at the $25 million cap. Applications must be submitted by January 31st, 2024 to be claimed on the 2023 tax return. However, if someone renews a lease in 2023 and don't get the application in by that deadline, they can still submit an application by January 31st, 2025 and originate their credit in tax year 24 for the 23 renewed lease. Revenue will review applications and send taxpayers a notification of their approvals, a denial, or requesting additional documentation. Businesses must have an approved credit to claim and receive the credit on their tax return. Once the business has that approval, they can then file their tax return and calculate the amount of their credit based on their 2023 income. Revenue's tax system, the integrated tax system, will be able to identify tax returns claiming the credit that didn't have a previously approved application, and those claims will be denied. Businesses are required to keep their lease and also maintain the 15-employee requirement at least half-time. Failure to maintain these qualifications will result in forfeiture and repayment of the credit. Revenue will require an annual attestation of businesses receiving the credit, ensuring that they still meet qualifications for the credit. Revenue will do audits and request documentation from the businesses to ensure the business has maintained qualification. This work will continue for the duration of the program, which will be through fiscal year 28-29. The Revenue Division will work quickly to implement and do everything that is needed to make this available for tax year 23, and there's a lot to do in a short amount of time. In the coming weeks, Revenue will send an educational notification to all of our current business tax accounts with information about the credit program and what they need to do to qualify and claim the credit. We will work with the Mayor's office on additional communications to notify local businesses about the credit program. We will create the credit application process. As I said, the first deadline to apply is January 31st, 24, which is coming. And so we will make sure that we have that application process stood up as soon as possible. Revenue will make the necessary modifications within our integrated tax system to administer this program. And we will also work to modify business tax forms, instructions, and work with software vendors to make sure this credit is available in their softwares. This ordinance provides Revenue with additional budget resources, which will primarily be used to add 2 FTE to administer this program, as well as send notifications and correspondence to businesses related to the program. With that, I'll stop there and available for questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Gonzalez?
Thank you. Starting on revenue estimates, could you just walk us through your methodology for projecting those? I mean, given that we have declining, increased vacancies, I'm just sort of curious what the assumptions are in making those revenue projections.
So estimates were difficult because we don't have really solid information as far as obviously who's within the district. Businesses file their tax returns, and many times it's the parent corporation that files the tax return, and their address might not be within the district, but they may have a lease within the district. And then the other thing is obviously we don't know who's going to extend the lease. And so with the analysis that we did do, we took a look at the businesses that pay the most amount of business license tax and made the assumption that a large majority of them would be able to claim the credit.
And are you, I guess, given the trajectory of downtown, for example, right now, where you're seeing increased vacancy, I'm just sort of curious what the assumptions are absent this incentive for those, what percentage of those leases would be renewed or extended. I guess I'm just, bottom line, I'm worried that maybe our estimates might be exaggerating the potential revenue loss, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah, that's partly why we wanted to instate the cap. if you were to hit the cap, it would sort of be a good problem to have in the sense that you'd now have all of that leasing activity, a lot of which wouldn't be there but for this intervention. And we could always allocate more above the cap with another separate council action, but at least you have that kind of safety valve so that you're not going beyond where you'd like to go.
Yeah, no, my worry is almost the opposite direction, that, again, that we may be overestimating the negative revenue impact. And did we include any projections as to how this might positively impact assessed values downtown? I mean, if we're able to retain more tenants, it's going to drive potentially, at least it's going to protect the assessed value to a certain extent of properties downtown. Just curious if that baked into
I think it certainly will directionally, but we'd have to work with the county's assessor's office to try to come to a more narrow window in terms of how much. We did ask them about some different scenarios that we're happy to share with you separately that relate to decreases in assessed value over time and how much property tax revenue impact that would have separate from this. So this is partly the response to that, but we have a few breaks in the system that prevent too much of a swing based on large assessed value decreases.
So because the deltas between market value and assessed value, you wouldn't
And
necessarily-
measures 5 and 50 in
Got it.
state law.
Got it. And for those listening at home, it's just a multiplying effect of leases and the way they impact assessed value and overall revenue for governments. Last two questions just on the language of the code. This might be mostly for Commissioner Rubio and her team. The verb break, I was just curious, when we're talking about the clawbacks on the benefit, I was just curious on the word break the lease, if we considered alternatives like terminate or allowed to expire. It's wordsmithing, just being a lawyer up here, but.
Yeah, that's probably kind of an eloquent term, break. I think it does refer to termination,
Okay.
so.
And
We can try to clarify that administratively, or we can try to clarify
you might
it in the
consider it
code.
because
Yeah.
if they have a early termination right, that they may be able to terminate a lease without actually breaking it, and
Right.
still we wouldn't get the benefit of their utilization downtown.
That's a good point.
The last question in that area, the clawback here would be for the entire amount of the credit they received. And so even if they stayed 3 years, we would claw back all of the tax benefit?
That's correct.
Okay. And I just was curious about the logic of that I can, on the one hand, have some understanding, but they are bringing benefit to downtown if they stay 3 of the 4 years, and is that excessively punitive? I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know, but that's the question.
That was part of our logic in terms of trying to split it up into the 4 years, that you're incentivizing someone to actually be there for the full term of the lease that they recommitted to. But sounds like suggesting that maybe you could give them a portion of the tax benefit if they were there for a portion of the lease that they extend for.
Yeah, we want them there as long as possible, but I also want to be fair on how it's applied. I guess the last question is as much for the mayor. Do we have anticipated, do we have a line of sight on where we think what expenses we're going to cut to pay for this in 23, 24?
Nothing. This is if these leases aren't renewed, our revenue take would be 0. So you're talking about a percentage of 0.
Yeah, I guess I fully follow your logic, but we are projecting some revenue decline in 23, 24 based on what we're looking at here. And I'm just wondering if that comes to fruition, what we identify.
Lead off.
Yeah.
Well, I'll probably turn this over to Economic Northwest, but there's an assumption that we're going to continue to see increased vacancy rates. And the quicker we do the work we need to do around public safety, around open drug use, and I'm really appreciative of the council's collective work on that front, the quicker we address livability issues. Those are differences we can make today, and we are making today. And I'm hoping that we don't see that continued attrition, but it's pretty likely, just given the lead time required to renew a lease, that Eco Northwest is right about it. And this is just one more of many different efforts we're undertaking to try to stem the tide and turn it around.
Well, and just to be crystal clear, so we're projecting nearly $700,000 impact in 23, 24. I have deep concerns about if those dollars are coming out of public safety, for example. And but completely follow. I mean, the challenge here is we don't know how much vacancy will increase without this incentive, so we don't fully know how much it will improve with it. And so these projections are all speculative, but that's my, just putting on the record.
We're pretty conservative when we calculate our balances, our beginning balances for the budget. My assumption is we will be conservative and we will take this projection into account. I hope we're wrong, but we also tend to be conservative in our initial projections.
Okay, I'm good right now. Thanks.
Tim, anything else you would add to that? No? Okay. I hate talking about your job.
If I could, since this is a new program, it's kind of difficult to.
Can you introduce yourself for the record? Sorry, I sucked you in. I apologize. Into the vortex.
Tim Grew, City Budget Director. As was mentioned earlier, this is a new program. We don't have a lot to forecast on until we get some actual data. Complicating this also is the bigger issue of the overall effects on our total business license revenues. And we'll be doing our new forecast, as you know, going into the budget process, and we'll update that at that time. We ended the year, last year, with more business license taxes than we had projected. So that's good information. And again, a lot of our business taxes come from international or national companies that are providing or doing business within Portland and pay the license based upon their business here. So that's another factor here that we don't have a lot of information on in terms of what the trends are.
And how just building on, and I'll get to Commissioner Ryan in just a second, but building on Commissioner Gonzalez's question, now that we have this data from Echo Northwest on presumed vacancies, which does impact our long-term, well, in fact, our near-term estimates of tax revenues, do you include that in our baseline projections for the budget?
We definitely look at that.
Okay,
when
thank
we're
you.
doing
That's
that.
helpful. Commissioner Ryan, then Commissioner Mapps.
First of all, it's great
Did
to have.
were you done, Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yeah, I'll save my, I think that my question's been answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
It's great to see everybody. This is a good conversation. I'm really just here to want more revenue to come to downtown, so I'm not troubled by the incentives at all. In fact, I'd probably want to go further with them because revenue is revenue, and we obviously need to do everything we can to get it churning. So with that in mind, the group that I'm thinking about the most right now are small businesses, and that includes, of course, restaurants, the storefronts, those who haven't had the privilege or luxury of staying at home and doing Zoom meetings, but have had to get up every day and face all the challenges of downtown Portland. And I've always been grateful to Kimberly, and we've had so many conversations about those funds that help with all the vandalism they've had to endure, and providing relief, providing some aspirin for the many headaches that have gone on with our drug crisis and illegal drug trade and other trade that we don't want on our streets that has really killed downtown Portland. That's why people aren't coming here. So I want to hear more about how we incentivize them and how we will know if the promise of foot traffic going up, like if that promise isn't revealed, then what would trigger us to know that we'd have to go deeper with the small businesses. I just want more concrete understanding of how this will help small businesses.
Well, firstly, I would start, I think you hit the nail on the head in that one of the indirect benefits is increased commerce coming downtown, increased foot traffic will benefit many of those small businesses that may not get as big of a benefit directly from the credit. As far as, follow-up analysis and what the impact of the credit is, how many people it does bring downtown, is that something you could speak to, or?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that, you always have multiplier effects. So anytime you're generating $1 of activity in a location, that dollar then gets spent presumably in the local region. And the idea here is, right, are there other programmatic things you can do to help target that? I think is a real option for small business, certainly. But the advantage here is we do have near real-time data that we can track. And so we can pair the business incentive locations with the actual foot traffic locations and see, are we seeing improvements in places with more credits, I think, as kind of a near real-time tracking of the efficacy of the program. And certainly, if it's not having the intended outcomes, you can reevaluate. But I think that is an option for sure.
I like it. You're the Eco Northwest person.
Yes.
I can tell. This is good. So how real-time is that data, and then how agile can we be to respond to that data?
The data source we use is Placer AI. It's available as of, I think, like a 1 week lag time. So, we typically will pull it at the end of the month. So it's certainly available monthly. I think if you wanted to go more real time than that, you can, but certainly monthly, I think is
It's pretty amazing,
pretty
actually.
good, yeah.
Yeah, so I think as we operationalize this and implement this, I'd like to have dialogue with Rubio and the mayor's office about looking at that real-time data so we can really see if we're benefiting our small businesses. And I wanted to put that out. And then loyalty is really a big deal right now. We have so many, again, courageous small businesses that have hung in there. Some have even renewed the lease. We have businesses that have come back with a higher percentage of employees working downtown than others. How can we reward them for that loyalty? Is there any incentive for that? Like, I would love to give more incentives to those that have people coming into work 4 days a week as opposed to those that still are groveling with getting employees to come back 1 day a week. Just thought I'd put that out there. Did that come up in our conversations when you were developing this policy?
We've talked a lot about this with council in terms of maybe financial rewards, like through the KUDO credit that then is spent back in the small businesses directly.
Yes.
So continuing to try to perpetuate that positive cycle, but open to other ideas that are maybe in concert with the Every Wednesday campaign to try to drive more activation that makes it more valuable for someone to
I like that,
be
Andrew.
here.
So that's the type of creativity I hope as we're implementing this, that this policy's, it's a policy. It doesn't mean anything until you actually implement it and actually
Absolutely.
learn from it while you're implementing it. And I think right now, since we're in a crisis, we have to figure out how to be really nimble and adjust. So I'm going to always have that. The two themes will be small businesses actually getting something concrete from this, and then really keeping an eye on those, and thank you, those businesses that are returning their employees about 4 days a week, and which brings much more joy to your life, and obviously to downtown, and then also to those small businesses that have hung in there.
Agreed.
So I'll be looking for more loyalty incentives.
Thank you.
For those that are just going to show up now because they're getting the incentive, I'm okay with them, but I really want to give more to those that have been loyal throughout the last 3 years.
And maybe we should be naming them and celebrating them more outwardly as well, just as a civic pride thing as well.
I like that. That makes
Thank you.
sense. And then they can go to an arts event and spend money at a restaurant, and life is good. All right.
Commissioner Pabst, did you still have a question or comment?
I'll wait till after invited testimony.
Very good. Back to you, Andrew.
We don't have anything further, Mayor, so I think we can go to public testimony
Very
if that's
good.
okay with you.
All right, Rebecca, how many folks do we have signed up for public testimony?
We have 12.
Good. All right, we'll do 3 minutes each, please. Name for the record.
Our first speaker is Peter Andrews.
Mr. Andrews, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for the time. Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioner. My name is Peter Andrews.
Peter, could you slide that maybe 4 inches closer? Right there, perfect, thank you. There you go, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Not a problem. I'll get closer to that. My name is Peter Andrews. I am the COO and Executive Vice President of Brokerage for Melvin Mark Companies. Melvin Mark owns, operates, brokers, manages, and invests in commercial real estate in the greater Portland region. We currently manage approximately 4 million square feet of office, industrial, and retail from Wilsonville to Vancouver, Washington. Over 50% of these assets are in downtown. We have been headquartered in Portland, Oregon for over 75 years, just a few blocks away from here. We believe in shared success and that people come first, and an intentional investment in our community. The properties that we own and operate and lease have value based on the businesses and, most importantly, the people that work and visit those businesses. Commissioner Ryan, just today I met with a small retail business that is a tenant of ours who shared with me that their income and revenue is 40% as of January through August of what it was in 2019. We have worked tirelessly through the pandemic to keep this tenant in downtown. As a landlord, there is nothing more that we can offer. The retailer relies on activity and people to use their services. They have tapped their own savings to the point and resources that there is not much left. I shared with them this proposal, and it was an exciting moment for them because this specifically answers something that they're asking. How do we get more people to come in to the city? And if it's successful, it will not only keep this small business in our great city, but long-term, it will incentivize other small businesses like there to relocate. Our retail core, as you walk around and you all see it, are those small businesses that fill those spaces in the larger buildings, but they are what make the vibrant downtown interesting, cool, fun. It is really important that those survive, and it is 100% based off of getting people into our city. So I hope that we're able to commit to this, and I thank you for your leadership during these incredibly challenging times in our city. Please don't put perfect in the way of good.
Thank you, Peter.
Next, we have Ann Casper.
Hello, Ann.
Hello, my name is Ann Casper. I'm a citizen of Portland for the moment and moving out. And I just think this is an unwise decision. I think what we need really is a healing plan. And if you want more people downtown, it's about fear. People are scared to come downtown. My family is. I actually go downtown quite a bit, and it's really wonderful to see it come back. I don't know where they got the 62% of the Lloyd Center district because there's a lot of food truck around there. We have to be so careful about data-driven things. Where's the data coming from? Who's making it? I heard Commissioner Ryan talk about loyalty. I think that's very important I go to businesses and thank them for being in Northeast Portland because Nike, just a couple blocks from me just pulled out. And it's wonderful that the businesses are still there. I just don't think it's a wise-minded thing to do at this point. We're a city in trauma. We need some time to heal. Making these very, very important decisions at this time is not wise. Just give us some time to come back. Make a healing plan. I don't know how to do that exactly, but it's a lot of fear. Actually, I did study international economics, so this is not just coming from thinking like this, looking at this. The populace, I've been traveling, I came back, and the people around me are really disappointed in this plan, and they don't want it. So they're not here today, perhaps, to talk for that. But the talk around the town is, please don't do this at this time. Maybe it's good for the future. I understand that you want to solve problems. And I really appreciate all of you working on this, but we're making desperate decisions. Slow down if you can. And I also just want to thank all of you again for your work. And it sounds like from what Tim Bruce said, this is a new program already, but it hasn't been decided yet. So we'll see what the vote turns into. Let's just keep working together. And I wanted to read a quote I just saw today because I was in Montgomery Park, and it came from our mayor, old mayor, Bud Clark. And what it is, and I also want to mention too, as long as I have 40 seconds left, there's a lot of growth downtown. It almost like also new Japantown. Have you noticed all those restaurants and Japanese stores? And people are coming back to have the businesses. So good luck to you. And I will read as soon as this. Oh, it's not opening. Oh, there we go. So Bud Clark said, Portland's greatness is in the livability of the neighborhoods. It's in the people who make sure that Portland is clean, safe, and prosperous. Our city is a jewel on the bank of the Willamette River and the cultural and trading hub of the Columbia Basin. So I also want to say for mental health, treat us as equal human beings. We can tell you how to do it and works. And thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Susan Griffin.
Welcome, Susan. Andrew, can you help move a chair out of the way, please? Thank you. Welcome.
Hi. My name is Susan Griffin, for the record. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the second time I've come down here to testify. And I'm sure you guys remember me the first time. I cried all the way through it. And I've been thinking since then what I could come back here and possibly ask for that would be somewhat logical and maybe something that one of you could maybe help me with. I know that I should be very grateful to have a roof over my head in Portland, Oregon. I'm very well aware of that, and I am. However, I have some serious problems in my building with people smoking fentanyl, indoors and outdoors, in the stairwells. And my management and her boss have clearly told me nothing's going to change. Okay, so here's what I need, and maybe one of you or a couple of you can come up with something to help me. I'm not able to go back to Northwest Pilot Project. The last time I went there and got help from them, when I moved into the apartment that I'm in now, 7 years ago or whatever, I had to sign a paper saying that I couldn't get help from them anymore. And so I really don't know who to turn to, but I need, maybe one of you could help me hook up with a social worker or an advocate, someone to work with me, maybe help me figure out how to get on some housing lists outside of the downtown area, if not maybe in Clackamas County. If I could have someone that could work with me and give me a little bit of hope, that's mainly what I need. It's just something that I can work on, something I can develop a plan and have something I'm working towards. I don't know where to go. I've turned to different places in Multnomah County for help and gotten a runaround. It's very frustrating for me because I struggle so much with my mental health. But what I want is I want to be able to live my life again. And I want to be able to heal. And I know that I'm not going to be able to heal living in downtown where, I don't want to cry, where the trauma that I endured surrounds me every day. Like I walked out my front door to come down here today and went right around the corner to where the little restaurant was, right next door, and there's a guy right there, you know, smoking fentanyl. And that's all I see, and that's all I'm surrounded by. So maybe if you guys could help me come up with an advocate or a social worker or someone, that would be it.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Mapps.
Susan, I have a couple of things I want to touch on today. First, thank you for coming in. Do I recall that you live by the Lloyd Center? Or can I ask roughly where you live? You don't have to give me your address.
Around the South Park blocks.
South Park blocks, okay. I know we have some livability and public safety problems there, and if we're going to
Neighbor
bring...
of mine was horribly assaulted recently. He won't even come home.
Yeah, I understand, and I'll state for everyone watching in the room and watching at home, I'm going to vote for this, and I think this will help bring people back to downtown and inner northeast, inner southeast. It's not going to be enough. We also have to address the livability challenges here. I don't know how much you know about me, Susan. I'm your infrastructure guy. I don't do a lot of human services, but but sidewalks and whatnot matter a lot to me. In the back of my room, I have a staffer, Jack. I'm going to ask Jack to connect with you. And this is not our specialty, but I'm going to ask my staff to try to connect you with with folks who can kind of help you navigate the systems. And I'm sure other folks in the building can help us figure out how to make that connection too. So Jack is back there in the orange. So Jack, you two can talk. Adam in my office also has some expertise in this space too, so we might want to roll over and pull Adam out, and we can do our best for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Rubio.
I was just going to say the same thing that Commissioner Maps did, so we'll just play back up to you, and
Okay.
just if you need any help from our staff, we're happy to help with housing.
Thank you, Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you both. Thank you for being here.
All right, thank you very much.
While you guys have those conversations, could we figure out why the organization said that she couldn't work with them any longer? I just found that to be fascinating. You'll get to that. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack's on it.
All right.
Thank you. Next individual, please.
Travis Parrott.
Thanks, Susan.
Good day.
Thank you. You too. Thanks, Andrew. Welcome, Travis. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Let me know if I'm too far or too close.
You're just right.
Just right, okay. My name is Travis Parrott. I'm the managing director at Newmark for its Portland office. Newmark is a global full-service real estate advisory firm. I spend most of my days entrenched in the local business community, and I'm very concerned with the trends I see, and I do believe massive change is necessary. I sit before you today to shed light on the pressing issues facing Portland and why a business license tax is essential to rejuvenate our community. Portland has long been known for its vibrant culture, but recently has been marred with high vacancy rates, unanticipated work-from-home strategies, and public safety concerns. It's imperative that we take proactive steps to address these challenges and usher in a new era of growth and prosperity. First, high vacancy rates have cast a shadow over our city's once thriving business districts. Empty storefronts and commercial spaces not only represent lost opportunities for economic growth, but also contribute to a sense of neglect in our neighborhoods. A business license tax can serve as a powerful incentive for entrepreneurs and businesses to invest in our city, occupying these vacant spaces and breathing life back into our streets. Second, the sudden shift towards remote work accelerated by the global pandemic has disrupted traditional business models. While this disruption has brought flexibility for employees, it has left many office spaces empty and property owners struggling. Doing nothing is not a viable strategy. I would also like to point out that this tax incentive is one of the many steps needed to occur to turn the city back around. Public safety continues to be the top priority for companies as they choose where to locate their business. A city's economic vitality is closely tied to its safety. When residents and businesses do not feel secure, they are less likely to invest and contribute to the growth of our city. A safer Portland will attract more businesses and residents, driving economic recovery. In summary, Portland, Oregon is at a crossroads. We face high vacancy rates, evolving work-from-home strategies, and public safety concerns. To turn our city around and restore its vibrancy, we must consider offering this business license tax at this pivotal moment. This break will incentivize businesses to occupy vacant spaces and contribute to the safety of our communities. Let us remember that the success of our city is intrinsically tied to the well-being of its people and businesses. By taking this step towards supporting our local businesses and addressing these pressing issues, we can collectively work towards a brighter, safer, and more prosperous future for Portland. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here.
Susan Keel.
Hey, Sue. Welcome.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, I'm Susan Keel, and I chair Portland Mall Management Incorporated. PMMI, as it's known, is a public-private management organization focused on providing stewardship for the 52 blocks in downtown Portland's Transit Mall along 5th and 6th, and at the 24 blocks that are along the cross streets, Yamhill and Morrison. Related to the measure that you're considering here today, the PMMI area includes small and large businesses such as retail, professional, offices, hotels, and restaurants.
Many of the buildings which house these businesses are significantly underutilized with a great deal of vacant space. We believe that a healthy downtown is safe, clean, and active. This has not been the case for the better part of 3 years. Downtown is coming out of a pretty deep hole. Not news to you, but it really is. This proposal for a business license tax exemption for a year is good, but it needs to be in place for 2 years. And I'm not talking about spreading the benefit over 4 years, but really give them an exemption for 2 years. We're asking these businesses to sign a longer-term lease or extension, and to get those tenants to come in, they've got to get them for a longer time. The way that Portland looks now, that's no easy task. As much certainty and financial help as possible is crucial. The importance of bringing people back to offices, retail, restaurants, hotels, and events can't be overstated. The core needs to be active, clean, and safe. The proposal is a good incentive, but should be a 2-year commitment. The exemption is a visible way for you all to show your support for a healthy downtown amid the ongoing recovery. And something a couple of you have alluded to, a rising tide lifts all boats. If, in fact, businesses succeed and grow, they pay more taxes, and people who are coming down to visit those businesses park, as do employees. Thanks.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Mark Wilkins.
Hi, Mark.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. We see you as well.
Perfect. I'm Mark Wilkins, Commercial Property Manager with TMT Development, whose president and CEO is Vanessa Sturgeon. I've been with them since 2020, and I manage for them their downtown properties, including Park Avenue West, Studio Building, and the Eaton Building. And in addition, I help on Fox Tower. So I just wanted to read just 3 important prepared statements that we wanted to share with you guys. In the past couple of years, we've encountered enormous difficulty in tenant retention in our downtown properties. The announcement of this initiative from the mayor's office has been such a hopeful signal to the community that the city government is listening to the needs of Portlanders, and we appreciate it tremendously. I cannot overstate the positive impact this would have in terms of retaining and attracting businesses to sign leases downtown. At TMT Development, we have a backlog of tenants waiting to see if this initiative progresses. In fact, we have quite a bit of leasing activity contingent upon it. Businesses are heartened by the city's focus on the vibrancy of the central city. I'd also like to express my gratitude that the initiative includes the crucial requirements that employers have their staff back in the office in order to qualify. Such an important provision that will help stimulate retail activity downtown. And on a personal level, our office is in Studio Building, which is right by Director Park. I definitely see the benefit of this initiative. And with the improvement in Director Park, I definitely have noticed some activity in that area. So I just wanted to extend my appreciation to everything that you guys do. I know you guys don't get a lot of positivity thrown your way, but we do appreciate what you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Ramsey Hattar. Andrew Hone.
Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Co-sponsors Wheeler, Commissioner Rubio, Commissioners Gonzalez, Maps, and Ryan. My name is Andrew Hone, and I'm the President and CEO and proud lobbyist of the Portland Metro Chamber. The Chamber is part of the Portland Business Alliance family of affiliates, including Downtown Portland Clean Safe and Partners in Diversity. I'm here today to urge you to support the passage of Agenda Item 779. I want to take a moment to particularly thank the leadership of the co-sponsors of this measure, Commissioners Rubio and Wheeler, and your staff, particularly Andrew Fitzpatrick, Chief of Staff Jillian Shoney, and Prosper Portland Director Kimberly Branham. We are encouraged by the actions demonstrated by the City of Portland to follow through on the promises that were made when this council adopted Advance Portland in April. The plan laid out an ambitious economic agenda that transformed the attitude of the city as it relates to growth, from passive participants to aggressive competitors. You have followed through on some of the most dramatic of these changes. June 28th, thank you for directing Prosper to bring forth proposals for tax increment financing districts in the Central City and East Portland. August 31st, thank you for enacting an expansion of the Enterprise Zone program to include the entirety of the downtown core. And today, thank you for considering Advance Portland's call for the enactment of a business license tax credit, and for working with the commercial real estate industry, tenants large and small, and other stakeholders that brought a paradigm-shifting proposal to you today. The layering of these incentives is precisely the mix that is necessary to help resuscitate the Central City. These programs accomplish exactly what you set out to do through Advance Portland. From a private sector perspective, these actions send the necessary market signals that 1, Portland cares about its private sector, 2, wants businesses to be here, and 3, is willing to go toe-to-toe with regional communities that would happily incentivize our businesses to relocate to their jurisdictions. The alternative status quo is no longer acceptable. But for these incentives and your actions today, we will continue to hemorrhage employers. Inaction has a multiplier effect in the following ways. We lose business tax revenue and deprive the general fund of its fuel to fund basic services. We see a massive reduction in the economic value of commercial properties and concurrently the loss of those property taxes that further deprive the general fund of needed revenue. We lose economic activity because of businesses departing from our core, and the retails, restaurants, other small businesses that depend on downtown employees would be deprived of their customers and our downtown deprived of its vibrancy. This is an imperative investment. Paired with aggressive and urgent restoration of livability, public safety, and cleanliness in our downtown, the solutions you bring to the table today will pay dividends now and into the future. Thank you for being leaders and first to market across the entire West Coast. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate your leadership.
Thank you.
Karen Eichen. Charlie Floberg.
Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for allowing us to speak today on this subject matter. My name is Charlie Floberg. I'm a business leader in Portland with Unico Properties, who owns and manages about 4 million square feet, mostly in the downtown core. But I'm not only here speaking on behalf of my company. I'm born and raised in Portland. I currently reside in the city, and I've been working in downtown for over 20 years and continue to hopefully for another 20 years. In my time as a resident and in my career, I've never seen such a dire state our city is facing. The sentiment is that our city doesn't care about businesses supporting our downtown core, which is proven by the mass exodus to the suburbs or even out of state. We need to change the narrative of what Portland has become. Business leaders have felt the pain more than anyone, and has been pushing this through this business tax credit is just a small gesture of financial incentive credit. We can finally portray to a sentiment that our city does care about businesses. And I hope, continuing what you say, Dan, Commissioner Ryan, I'm hopeful that this is just the first step of many to help businesses come, stay, and thrive in our downtown. Again, thank you for your time today. We look forward to having both our city employees and our private sector return to our beautiful downtown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt Goodman.
Welcome, Matt.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, thanks for providing me an opportunity to testify today. My name is Matt Goodman. and I work at Downtown Development Group, a local family real estate company for which I represent the fourth generation. Virtually all of our properties are located in the Portland area, most in the city's core. I'm testifying today to speak in support of the Downtown Business Incentive Program. Like it or not, a few truisms are now undeniable pertaining to Portland's urban core and our region's workforce. First, Portland has emerged from the pandemic as a work-from-home haven. Well, there are positive attributes to this reality. One incredibly negative one is the devastating impact it continues to have on our central city. And respectfully, business and government leaders who broadcast their steadfast commitment to saving our downtown while simultaneously constricting its lifeblood, namely its daily positive foot traffic, have an untenable position. Without a workforce fueling our city, businesses close, public safety erodes, and our well-documented municipal atrophy continues. I applaud how this downtown business program mandates at least some degree of in-person work. Given my limited time, I'll simply say programs like this, which are small steps on a massive climb to making Portland-Multnomah County's business climate competitive, are needed in the worst way. Finally, a reminder that when companies relocate from Portland, those are long-term decisions. Office renewals are sometimes a handful of years. Maybe 4 years is contemplated in this ordinance. Relocations, however, are often a decade plus due to the intense capital outlay required to build fresh office space. While this ordinance is part of a good start, I hope we will improve it later, like Commissioner Ryan was inferring, by offering additional incentives for companies making long-term, ideally over 10-year commitments to being in Portland. But this program, as I said, is part of a great start. I'm appreciative of the work done by all involved. Thank you for your efforts on behalf of our city, and my family and I remain steadfastly committed to supporting efforts like this. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Eric Cole.
Mr. Cole, welcome.
Hi. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor and City Commissioners, for the opportunity to be here. My name's Eric Cole. I am the director of the Revitalize Portland Coalition and also a registered lobbyist with the city. As an industry, well, we're the voice of the commercial real estate industry in Portland. And as an industry, we, like you, want to see Portland and our region thrive. We would love nothing more than to see Portland return to the top of the national list for livability, sustainability, and cultural activity. We all want Portland to be a world-class livable city. We want Portland to be an international world-class livable city. The World Economic Forum cites 5 factors to judge livable cities. 1, enhanced quality of life. 2, sustainable economic development. 3, attracting investment. 4, attracting international talent. And 5, retaining local talent. We would argue the incentives you are proposing today directly and indirectly help us move the needle, particularly on those 2 factors related to talent. We've been told by more than one local employer among our membership that downtown Portland, even with all of its challenges, remains an important driver in recruiting top, diverse talent. Folks want to come work in a vibrant, safe downtown. Suburban office locations are not necessarily what international talent is looking for. We need efforts like this to retain and attract our employers and our employees, to boost foot traffic, as you've heard, and also our cultural and artistic institutions depend on foot traffic and access that this will help and continue. Last week, we testified alongside other partners, TriMet, Prosper Portland, Travel Portland, as you considered Commissioner Gonzalez's and the mayor's public consumption legislation. We heard very, very tragic testimony around what's happening with the unfettered drug use that's happening downtown. But we also have to recognize that all of these issues are interconnected. So I applaud you for taking these moves in multiple tracks. Our response has to be multifaceted as well. We join you in supporting this legislation, and we encourage and are hopeful as you measure and monitor the metrics that we can include other districts of downtown, particularly the Pearl and the Central East Side. We also, considering this is about half of the tax paid by most businesses in Multnomah County, of the business taxes paid, we're ready to go to Multnomah County and ask them to provide a similar proposal as well, to take care of that other half and to look at the supportive housing services taxes as well. So I appreciate your time today, and thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your being here.
That completes testimony.
Thank you, Rebecca. Andrew, do you want to come back up in case we have additional questions, colleagues? Commissioner Ryan, do you have a question?
Mostly I want to talk to the leaders of our economic portfolio on the council, and that would be the mayor and Commissioner Rubio. When the conversation came and you landed at 4 years and 25%, if you will, as you roll it out for 4 years, I assume there were conversations that went to a higher extent, maybe 50% and maybe more years. I just want to hear why we landed on this one.
Yeah, Andrew, do you want to talk about that?
Yes, I mean, standard leases are 3, 5, 7, 10. So 4 is really shooting for 5. And it's based on some of the leasing activity that Mike Wilkerson had shared in terms of what's happening in the market now and the kinds of activity that we'd like to see. We know that not everyone is prepared to sign an 11-year lease. And so we were shooting for something that was longer than a 1 or 2 year, but not quite a 10 or 11-year lease commitment. So it is somewhat of an arbitrary selection, but of course, with all the other initiatives that you're adopting in the Central City, we are hoping to see market recovery in the next 3 to 4 years such that you don't need to have this arbitrary intervention to support leasing activity. The Central City should be a place that's engendering and driving a lot of that investment on its own without an incentive in the next 4 years.
No, I see. And I'm supportive of the step. I'm just exploring how we will take this forward. So when we talked about it maybe being 50% as opposed to 25%, why did it go back to 25%?
In
Or
terms
did we
of-
have the conversation about it being 50%?
In speaking with the budget office, we wanted also to provide some level of kind of long-term affordability. Because we don't know how much of the credit
Uncertainty
is
in
going to
terms
go
of-
out. And so we're now metabolizing it over the 4 years in the sense that a taxpayer is realizing it in those equal quarterly increments over 4 years. So if you had an $100,000 credit, you would see $25,000 credits over the next 4 years to make that up.
I get it. I'm just trying to figure out what the conversation was like if we took this further.
And another idea, of course,
Because we have so much uncertainty, so we're trying to provide
Right.
certainty, which
Right.
we think then trigger more revenue coming in because of that certainty.
So you could try to offer another credit for the next tax year, not just for one tax year, because right now it's an either-or proposition, 23 or 24. Or as some have suggested, you could try to create another tier so that if you did sign something that was, as Matt suggested, 11 years.
So we really do
you would
reward
see
loyalty.
a bigger reward. Those are great ideas, but based on what others have said too, we are leading the country now in doing this.
As
And so
we
we
should.
wanted to take a step that we could see some early results from and then modify if we needed to as we go.
Andrew, if I could just jump in as well. It's a great question, and I appreciate Commissioner Ryan asking it. The way I view this is it's stopping the bleeding first. We have to stop the bleeding, the trends that Eco Northwest put out. And we're betting on the success of the myriad of economic development, public safety, and livability issues that we as a council have already supported, the other initiatives that people have discussed. So what we need to do is, number one, give them the incentive to stay. And we didn't peg it at the shortest term lease, the 3 year, but really we're sort of coaxing people towards the mid-range, the 5-year lease. And what we're seeing in the market is a trend towards shorter lease terms, particularly in a period of uncertainty. My hope and my expectation, frankly, is that 5 years from now, the economic circumstances in downtown Portland will look much better, and people will be in a position then to sign longer-term leases. But the first step is really to get them to stay. And I believe this has a great chance of success based on what the industry is telling us.
I think we all share that, so I agree with you. And I think I'm just taking a temperature check on why we wouldn't have a bigger Band-Aid because we're bleeding so heavily. And that would give us more certainty. And then in 5 years from now, we might have a more robust downtown. So I think what I enjoyed was that I've enjoyed this conversation in general, you could probably tell. And I really thought it was smart that we had some data and some metrics. So I'm just hoping that in 6 months, we could agree that we come back and look at those monthly metrics and see what impact it's having. And then we can make some adjustments in 6 months if we need to. My gut says we're going to have to get a bigger Band-Aid, Mayor. So that's where I'm coming from right now. I'm totally supportive of this. I'm just I'm just having dialogue with all of you and why it didn't go further.
That's a great point. As Mike said, I think we have kind of the live time, every week foot traffic data that we can gain from Placer and our cell phone data. And then from our revenue partners, we'll have hopefully approval activity that'll show some of the lease applications that come in alongside others. So ideally, you'd have like indirect effects of not just people taking advantage of the credit, other people that are indirectly benefiting and signing their own leases or seeing increase in customer traffic, which if you'd like, we could probably go to some of those folks and ask them, for focus groups of different performance increases that they've seen in their own business as a result of nearby large-scale tenants that are there. Because if you're a coffee shop and you have 1,000 employees that are newly back, on your block, you're going to obviously see that big uptick, and that's what we're after.
Good. And I think based on the testimony, there's a lot that would like to be a part of those stakeholder groups.
Absolutely.
And we can tie in the small businesses to see if the multiplier effect is truly multiplying.
We should.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm just supportive. I just want to make sure we have more dialogue, that this is a toe in the water, a step, and steps are important. You got to do one step at a time. I just want to make sure that we have the urgency up here to keep taking more steps.
You bet. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Andrew, just one follow-up, building off of Commissioner Ryan's exploration there. Can you just sort of level set for the record our current tax burden in the city of Portland relative to other U.S. cities, high level, and relative to some of our suburban competitors? Because I think we kind of glossed over that. It's been well documented, but I just want to make sure we're keeping that. And I'm looking at total tax burden, city, county, metro.
Why, if only we had a revenue director.
Yeah, I'm going to very quickly pivot to the revenue expert on this. Obviously, everyone focuses on the individual tax burden, and that Portland is now among the highest in the nation for top income earners, over 14%, higher than New York City. So that is a factor when you talk about what Eric Cole mentioned in terms of talent and different businesses' willingness to relocate here and pay, or at least their employees pay that level of taxation. For us here, of course, in the city, we have business license taxes at 2.6%. We have the business income tax from Multnomah County at 2%. And then we have both the statewide corporate income tax and the corporate activities tax. And there's likely others that I'm neglecting to mention, transportation tax that a given business, depending on their industry, would be paying.
There's the Metro business income tax, there's the clean energy surcharge, there's other taxes like the heavy vehicle tax, if they're, that's the type of business that they do. In terms of, and I think you hit the nail on the head, but in terms of, the overall tax burden, Portland is one of the highest, so.
For both businesses and individuals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Very good. This is an emergency ordinance. Rebecca, please call the roll.
Gonzalez,
I want to reiterate the heavy tax burden that businesses and individuals face in the city of Portland at a time when the cost-benefit analysis for locating, living, and building businesses in the city of Portland has been significantly disrupted. Fully support this. I believe it will have a multiplying effect on both economic activity and key sections of our city, but also will contribute to communal life. It supports small businesses, culture indirectly, and just the presence of having people downtown. I do want to put on the record that any potential impacts on revenue, I'm a hard no on cuts in public safety to pay for these types of cuts. I think we have to do both. We have to continue to invest in public safety and core livability while we look at our tax burden. But I'm just putting that out on the record right now. And last but not least, the city is just one taxer on our businesses and on our individuals. It is imperative we put the same pressure on our public partners to make concessions. We are responsible for first responders. We are responsible for infrastructure as a city government. And so we can't rob from Peter to pay Paul. And unfortunately, with increases in taxes from some of our public partners in recent years, it feels a little bit like that. We're taking the first step forward. I commend Commissioner Rubio and the mayor for leading the charge on this, but we cannot do it alone, and look forward to the dialogue with our public partners. I vote aye.
Maps.
I want to thank, number one, I want to thank everyone who testified today, including staff for their presentations. Also very much want to thank the mayor and Commissioner Rubio for pulling together the package before us today. Of course, I'm going to vote aye on the ordinance before us, and I expect everyone else on council to do the same. And I hope people in this chamber, in this city, in this region, in this country notice what this council is doing today. Portland, in the last several months, has taken some extraordinary steps to make our city a good place to start and grow a business. You know, today we are creating incentives for you to locate your business in Portland. I remind you, a couple of weeks ago, this council unanimously passed an expansion of our enterprise zone program, which means that if you invest in a Portland business, this council and this city will invest in you. I expect us to bring forward many more innovative programs which will make Portland an even more competitive city. So, you know, if you're not a Portlander, but you're thinking about locating your business here in this town, I really encourage you to really give that a hard look. We remain one of the most remarkable cities in North America, and we have really dramatically changed the value proposition of being here. You know, I know it's tough out there, and I won't, you know, there's no way to ignore the challenges that we have in front of us today. But at the same time, I also truly believe there has never been a better time to invest in Portland, which is why I vote aye.
Rubio.
I just want to give a final thank you to the mayor, to Andrew and your team for your leadership and partnership on this. Also to Director Branham and her team for all their great work on this issue every day. Also to our budget and finance staff as well. And to Eco Northwest. This isn't the first analysis that you've provided to help us navigate this time in our history, and the data is really critical to our work, so I want to lift that up. I'm also hopeful that this policy sends a strong signal that we're serious about Portland's economic recovery, and I have high hopes that this will work, but it will also take trust and decisions by those outside this building to continue to recommit to our city. So that's what my hope is for our businesses in the city. Portland can't fully recover without you and your employees, but together through our action, through this action in concert with all the other actions, current and future, and especially community safety, we can get this done. Finally, I want to acknowledge that prior to this meeting and also during this meeting, as we heard in testimony, and we've already heard some requests for expansion of the program or even further ideas. And I personally would like to revisit those ideas, and also my colleague Commissioner Ryan, suggested as much as well. So I'm very interested to revisit this as we see this play out. and track the cost to the city. It's also important to send a strong signal that we're serious and continue thinking about creative ways and doubling down on our future. So for these reasons, I'm very happy to vote aye.
Ryan?
First, I'd like to thank Mayor Wheeler and Commissioner Rubio, my very capable, smart colleagues that I work with who lead economic development on the council, and the staff. Really good presentation. I enjoyed the conversations. And anyway, I really think you're putting this proposal together. It's a really good step and makes me miss having this portfolio, I got to admit. We're in a time of crisis, and incentives like this one represent smart policy. This smart policy can only help keep living wage jobs in our city. This smart policy leverages collaboration. That was evident today, and innovation. This smart policy is intentional, uses common sense to achieve common goals. It was funny to listen to revenue, like revenue's revenue, and the faucet's been off. So we have to do everything we can to get it flowing again. And so you're gonna probably see more money come in the more we consider these incentives. I'm also encouraged that this proposal has broad support from business owners to SEIU Local 49. When business and labor are on the same page, we can truly build forward with some wind behind our backs. I hope to see in the near future a program like this one for our small businesses with 10 or fewer employees. These store owners and their hardworking staffs are often left behind by larger organizations with more resources, and small businesses, along with hospitality, are those gritty survivors of the spiral that escalated during the onslaught of COVID and in Portland's downtown due to consistent intolerable crime on our streets. In other words, small storefront retail businesses and restaurants have had to show up, and we must extend as much relief and incentives to them as possible. I get the foot traffic goals, I get that those are helpful, but I look forward to seeing the metrics to make sure that that actually is ringing true. That said, this is a great step. We as elected officials on City Council are sending a message to Portlanders, especially those that are living downtown, those who are entrepreneurs, investors, and businesses, that Portland believes in its future, and we are going to invest with you. We believe in you to be a part of this economic resurgence. With hope that we will include small businesses more directly with rewards to long-term loyalty, with extension of years or percentages or both, with hope that we return after the analysis of the first 6 months of data with engagement from our stakeholders that include small businesses. We learn from that. We meet here in about 6 months to adjust this policy. So the implementation, the practices that gives us the necessary results we need to turn downtown around is taken into consideration. Knowing those steps are in motion, this is at the right direction. And with that hope, I vote aye.
Wheeler?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody who had a role in this, not just about everybody who's sitting in this room. I want to thank you, Commissioner Rubio, and your team, Jillian. I know she had to go off to other things, but I hope you'll pass my gratitude along to her. My team, Andrew, thank you for your continued terrific work on this. And of course, our budget and revenue folks. We don't often put you right in the hot seat, but I really appreciate the hard work you put into this proposal. And Tim, you're probably over there just fuming that I called on you unexpectedly. The good news is you always dress well, so you are ready for the occasion. You never know when you're going to get it called on and asked to be on TV to answer a tough technical question. So thanks to you and all of our community partners who worked really hard on this. Kimberly, Prosper, Portland, the whole gang there continuing to do great work. I want to second the comments about Echo Northwest. This is a data-driven action. This is not a random plan. This is not a stick our finger in the wind and see how things are doing. We are attempting to maximize our bang for the buck in terms of economic recovery with limited resource. And to do that, we really relied on the good quantitative analysis provided to us by Eco Northwest. This is a significant investment. I want to underscore that it is leading national responses. I also want to commit that we will monitor its performance closely and that we will ensure that data is shared with council. So if there's any improvements or enhancements or new ideas that the data suggests we should pursue, then we will. This innovative credit program demonstrates what I think is the kind of vision combined with concrete action that we need to recover our central city and drive greater prosperity for all Portlanders. We're going to continue to pursue other initiatives like this. We're not going to stop. We're not going to let up at all. I vote aye, and this emergency ordinance is adopted. And Rebecca, thank you for doing a great job today. We are adjourned.